Super Dave here with another Super Dave review. Super Dave here with another exciting Masterverse new Eternia review. I never quite understood Flying Fist He-Man, but Wave 15 gives us just that. Flying Fist He-Man. There he is. Just take a look at him. Unfortunately, we did not get this head sculpt again. We got this one, which is not my favorite. But this really looks like, in my opinion, a similarity to the, not exact, but the He-Man we saw at the very end of Revolution. We had those gold, almost lion-looking, shoulder armor and stuff. And he's got some gold trim. I mean, it's close to that. This may be the closest we get to that. I'm not sure. There's a picture of that one that I'm talking about right there. But anyway, here is the box we get. We see Too Bad here. See some shots of Eternia in the background. There is that beautiful head sculpt again, which I wish we had gotten this time. Why can't they do that? Even here, looking awesome. Looks nothing like the face that we get. Here's some product shots with that awful looking face, like he's aged 50 years compared to that, right? But anyway, looking awesome here as far as his accessories and the product shots here. There's a little quick bio of Flying Fist He-Man, and you see the other selling points at the bottom. But down here, we're going to be reviewing all three of these in Wave 15. Excited about looking at this new Eternia Fisto. And I think this may be, no, I went and checked. It's not the vintage collection. Actually, all three of these will be new Eternia. But still, she's looking very classic here. So we'll look forward to looking at Evelyn. There's the other side of this box. You see this box art here with almost like a pink version of the sorceress working some of her spells here with He-Man in action. So let's go ahead and break open this new Eternia Masterverse action figure and check him out over here in new Eternia. And now let's first take a look at our new Eternia Flying Fist He-Man's accessories. And to start off with, He-Man comes with two sets of hands. First, his gold Flying Fist hands, and they're balled up, tightly fisted hands. He comes with this little clip that will go on his back so he can hold both or some of his weapons, we'll see. And then he comes with this gun-type equipped thing that has some sort of spinning wheel on it, or flying ball things when it, I don't know. Be nice to pop that off and just use that as a rifle. It looks kind of cool, but I don't know. I've never liked that thing, even when it came with the classics or the vintage origins, whatever. It's just not my favorite gimmick. But I do like the shield all right. It's a little bit, gaudy. It's a little much, but it's still cool. And so looking neat here on the shield, I think. And I really like this Flying Fist He-Man's outfit. The chest armor could be a little bit more metallic for my taste, but I really like the color of gold and the details on these lion head shoulder pads, and even the trim around the bottom of this chest plate where you have the lion belt, the new Eternia style belt that we've been seeing, even his gold gauntlets on his wrists. And just check out these cool boots. He's got these gold trimmed silver boots, and they look really neat. So I really like this, even the way the molding is in the chest plate. You look on the back here, there's where that piece goes that we were talking about there, and that should snap on there somehow. You can see the straps here on the bottom where you can remove his chest armor, so we'll take a look at that as well. You can even remove these shoulder pads. So we'll look at all of those options and even do some head swapping here in just a moment. But first of all, let's go ahead and do his articulation. Alright, let's go ahead and look at these weapons. First of all, you can see the way you put these on, those two weapon holding hands, and they are vertically hinged, and you just put that on there and pop that wrist through here to be able to sustain that as he was doing just a moment ago. But then this spins, so that's one kind of articulation as far as an action feature for that shield. And then for this gun looking thing, it looks like it could be, I don't know, a crossbow type situation maybe here, but it has like a handle and then a place to snap around his wrist or his forearm. And then this is going to spin. That's going to spin. So you'll be able to spin that and I guess your enemies. I don't see why that would be more powerful than his superhuman strength hitting them. But that is why I'm guessing he comes with his flying fists, and they're gold. Just take a look at those. They're gold fists, those gauntlets looking cool. So yeah, he could really punch and get the best of somebody there. But just take a look at this fella all the way around. Again, there's that, almost looks like a sword looking design there. Cool. With the H logo that we're used to seeing in most of this Masterverse line, except for the 40th anniversary He-Man. Just about all the rest of them have had that. Except for the Viking He-Man. He had kind of the cross, a variation of the cross. But, this pops on just like so. There's those pegs. You pop those in and then slide it down and it locks into place. And that's going to allow you to, let's see, yeah, pop that on like that. So you could have his weapon popped in there. And let's see about this. That might be able to hook on there somehow also. Nope, I couldn't quite figure out any way of strapping the shield onto his back with that, unless you maybe, rigged up something, maybe like putting a sword down in here and then wedging that, but then that wouldn't necessarily look all that great, I don't know. We'll see. We'll look at that in a minute. But let's go ahead and look at his articulation. He's going to be able to look up a decent amount there. He's going to be able to look down all the way. Unfortunately, he gets no pivot. I don't know why. I guess because of the way the hair is designed. No pivot. Of course, he'll be able to look side to side. His arms are not really going to be able to go 360. Not with these things attached, but you can pop. Don't want to break it, but you could pop those off. There we go. You can pop those off there. May have been easier to have heated them up first and then it'll pop right back on, but of course you'd be able to go 360, be able to get a T-pose. He has bicep swivel, double jointed elbows there, of course, and so gets all the normal articulation, and then you can pop this right back on there just like so. Now of course the armor is going to get in the way of that articulation, but he'll still swivel side to side. But you definitely, this is hard enough that it will not bend, it's not going to crunch forward or backwards with that armor on. And I've showed you that. His legs do have the drop down method, and he will get full splits. Then you can push those legs back up in there. But let's look and see how far up they will kick. Kick up about that far. Do have the thigh rotation. Double jointed knees, which will get back all the way to his back there. He does have boot rotation. He's going to get almost full tiptoes. Go up all the way. He does have a peg hole in the bottom on those silver boots, and he gets excellent forward-facing pin rockers there. And I was going to mention to you that these are horizontally hinged wrists on these fists, and they will rotate and hinge horizontally. Whereas the weapon holding hands, you have one of each. His right hand is vertically hinged, where his left hand is horizontally hinged. So that is all of his articulation, but and we'll do some head swapping here in just a moment. Don't think we missed anything. Push those legs back in place. You can see the loincloth, the way it's designed there. Let's go ahead and remove this just so we can get a look at which buck he has. And it does look like he has the new buck with slightly larger chest, and of course the really nice also larger neck traps, muscles. So you know, you could definitely, if you wanted to, put battle armor He-Man on this particular so it matched the boots maybe a little better and match things around. Of course you could put this one on there and it would match the red a little bit more matching that red. And then of course you could put the regular harness on him if you wanted to, and it would still match. So you know, all the He-Man stuff that you have for Masterverse pretty much would fit on this one if you so desired to do that. All right, let's go ahead and do some head swaps. All right, so Flying Fist or Thunder Punch and Flying Fist He-Man have the same head pretty much exactly. As far as I can tell, it looks identical. And then this was the head that we got with the Revolution He-Man, that you could do the battle armor or regular. And then this was the custom head that I purchased, and you can go back and look at my video on that. But when I compare all the heads and stuff, but yeah, I like this one because I think personally, as I've shared before, I think this face looks more like the box, and you know, it could maybe be a little closer in some way, but I don't know, I like it. And so first thing I want to do is try Flying Fist He-Man head and replace it with this head. Check it out. What do you think? Yeah, me too. Awesome. All right, go ahead and check this one out as well. Thunder Punch is determined to fall. That's how he looks. And then finally, as far as Masterverse heads anyway, that one's hard to get off. I have the Viking He-Man head. And if you're like me and you love the vintage He-Man head, I like this original, well, I should say the vintage style classics He-Man head from the Classics line, Mattel Classics. I like this head. It's going to be a hard pop on the Thunder Punch He-Man. So let's see how he looks on the Flying Fist He-Man. Oh man, I really like that. Just take a look at that. Looking good. Looking awesome. And there he is, all decked out there with everything. Looking cool. Looking cool. Awesome. And so there we have our head swaps. Now let's do some comparisons. And here is our Flying Fist He-Man in Motu Classics. You can see his twirly ball weapon and his spinning shield. And I do think they topped the shield. I think the shield looks better in the Masterverse. And if the spinning ball thing is your thing, I certainly believe they upgraded that as well, giving it more of its own thing as far as like the gun part, whereas this just looks like a black piece of plastic with a handle. and a place for the spinning thing to attach to. This one definitely has its own character here with a gunmetal, as you can see there. I'm not that big on it, so I didn't even attach it because I just love these gold hands so good that I don't even want to take them off. These gold fists are so cool, and he did not come with the gold fist. Now what I will say is this one beats out the Masterverse with the chest armor because it has more of a metallic shine and metallic look to it, even though I really like the chest armor on the Masterverse because of the addition of the shoulder armor and just the overall look of it. Just wish they had given us a little bit more of a metallic. You can see the belts are the same, they're red. The loincloth is pretty much the same color and the same length, with the exception of this plastic cloth type piece hanging down, but it even looks like a sword. Okay, don't go there, but it does. It looks like it's in the shape of a sword, but it looks really cool, like a crest or some form of, symbol for a banner, but it's a loincloth piece of cloth. And they definitely did a better job on the boots. If you look at these boots, shine a little light on those boots, just see silver boots with the gold trim, and then with the classics we just got the typical brown boots with some white, real bright white around those boots. I will say that I would almost rather have the classics head over this head, but I'm not so sure. As I look at it here side by side, I don't know. It's a close call. It's hard for me to say 100% on that one, but you can decide. And there we go. Just for the sake of trying to have everything as close to the same as possible, classics, Flying Fist He-Man, and Masterverse New Eternia Flying Fist He-Man. And I must overall give the win to Masterverse New Eternia Thunder Punch He-Man on this, even when it comes to details. Because normally Classics wins out with details, but not this time. This time the Masterverse definitely wins out with the details, the articulation, the accessories, and just the overall look of the character, with maybe the exception of the head, but I'm not sure. Alright, and here is Flying Fist He-Man next to He-Bro, with our Masterverse flair to him here, as well as our Man-at-Arms with a Horde MX head sculpt on top there, and he's holding one of the New Eternia helmets, the wave, I think it was wave 13, the New Eternia helmet for Man-at-Arms. And I also found my Snake Armor He-Man from Classics that came in that 2-pack with the King Hiss that was inspired by the 2000X Mike Young production, and this is also inspired by that, this awesome armor that this battle armor, snake armor really, He-Man has, and the younger head sculpt like you would have seen kind of if we had ever gotten a 2000X He-Man. Everybody's hoping that we'll get that line in the Masterverse, like the Hiss, King Hiss, and some of the Motu stuff like He-Man in this armor, which would be awesome to see how they would do that. And man, please Mattel, give us a decent face. But while we've got this head sculpt there, let's try it on this Flying Fist He-Man just for fun. And that is looking really good if you ask me. Beside our She-Ra with a Horde MX head sculpt, our King, Hiss armor, battle armor, Hiss armor, whatever it was, for He-Man head sculpt, like I'll say it's the 2000X head sculpt of Classics on this. And I will say it looks good on camera under the lighting, but if you see it in person, the skin tone is not a match. The 2000X head sculpt has more of a tan tone to it, whereas in comparison, this Flying Fist He-Man Masterverse New Eternia has more of a yellowish tone to the tan. So in person, unfortunately, it does not look like it matches, but on camera it is looking good. Yeah, I mean on camera here, Yeah, if I take the white away, you still can't tell. But yeah, you can kind of see that there's a little bit more of a yellow tone to his skin on the Masterverse. But it looks good. And then there is Dark Wolf himself, getting ready to load his bow. Just got that in from Big Bad Toy Store that had the movie accurate wrist gauntlets, and because I missed out on the first one. But after getting Tigra, I had to get Dark Wolf because I watched the Fire and Ice movie and it was good. Alright, let's do a few more comparisons. And here's our Flying Fist He-Man next to our Revolution He-Man. Not the battle armor, but the regular armor. And I even have the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive 2-pack He-Man with a real metal shield and metal sword attached to this particular He-Man with a Hordak MX head sculpt, which is his version of like the Revelation and Revolution Netflix series head sculpt, which I love. It's one of my favorites. But you can see how they look together here and in comparison. I wanted to show you very quickly that when you have that red piece strapped to his back, there is a space there, if you'll notice. And so yes, you can take a sword, whether you have a New Eternia style He-Man sword like this, or even one of the Revelation/Revolution type swords, and it will slide right down into that area perfectly. So that is really cool to know. You can store that sword and still attach his big spinny thing if you wanted to. So you can store both. So there he is with his sword and his Flying Fist gun thing. And I just love this Mechanic, the New Eternia Masterverse Mechanic. I don't show him off enough, but he is so cool. And I have like 3 of him, so I've attached enough necks to make him go all the way up. You can check out my review on that. And our next review is going to be New Eternia Fisto, because this is the only Fisto we've gotten in this line so far, but excited to check out New Eternia Fisto. That'll be the next review. And then there's Clamp Champ looking awesome as well. And so you see how these figures measure up together, looking epic, looking great. I'm very pleased. And here is the perfect Flying Fist He-Man in my view, which is the classics vintage style head with the Thunder Punch gold sword, He-Man sword there. And of course his Flying Fist shield, his shoulder armor, and there's Demona from the Best Buy exclusive 2-pack smiling there. And even Stratus looking awesome there beside him. There's our New Eternia Stratus. So cool. I love this He-Man. He's just looking so neat, so regal here with those shoulder armor. I just think he is really a good looking character. I like him. I'm enjoying him. Tell me what you think. And then one more for you here. I couldn't resist putting him alongside of our classic style Super 7 Ultimates Lion-O here. And then of course a Classics Zodak. Looking cool. And just enjoying again that vintage style head on him a lot better than the one he came with. And some of you may have the Origin style vintage head that will probably look good on him as well. But I'm just loving this, and he's looking really cool. Those shoulder armor things just do the trick. Thank you so much for joining us for this Super Dave review. Come back and see us again real soon, as we'll be doing Fisto and Evil Lyn very shortly. And be blessed. Here's some photos in the photo gallery.